If you've been following our stuff, you know the biggest psychological force driving your buyer's decisions is loss aversion. And for you to successfully invoke loss aversion in your buyer, you have to understand what they care about, and you have to understand or appreciate that inside their head is this emotional chimp. Now, most sellers are only getting this half right at best.
So you're about to see 3 scenarios of 3 different flavours of sellers. An okay seller, a good seller, and a rock star seller. So imagine that you are selling some sort of finance system. You're selling to the head of invoicing, and they've come at you, or that person has come at you and said, well, we need a system. It's absolutely crucial. It's got this multi-currency capability. Now, of course, any seller is going to ask more questions behind that. So the okay seller is going to delve a bit deeper, try and understand the business drivers behind that. And maybe they reveal this kind of information by asking good questions. The current system is weak in that capability. They want to get into new international markets that require that, and the reason they want to do that is to hit new growth targets. And the okay seller will reflect that back to their buyer. Now the good seller sees that that is a good start. They'll do that as well, but the good seller will help the buyer quantify how much they're losing right now by sticking with the status quo, and they'll reflect that back to their buyer. By doing that, they are invoking loss aversion by showing how much the business is losing right now.
But the rockstar sellers, they know they're not just selling to a business, they're selling to an emotional human being. They're selling to a chimp, and this chimp probably cares about other things that are below this line, things it's unlikely or unwilling to share with you. So in its head, there's a parallel story going on. Perhaps because of this lack of capability, they're concerned that they're making too many mistakes. They're concerned they're losing control, there's too many blind spots, and because of these things, well, they're actually concerned it might impact their bonus or even their job and reputation. Do you think that you can elicit this information from your buyer purely by asking questions? Well, if your buyer is a patient and you're a psychiatrist or a doctor, perhaps, but if you're a seller, then definitely not.
John and I are sick and tired of sales gurus likening sellers to doctors because they're not totally different. In the patient-doctor relationship, the patient is keen and open and eager to share this type of information. However, in the seller-buyer relationship, the buyer is not keen at all to reveal this kind of information. There are huge barriers between you.
So questions are fantastic for up here, but not great down here. You need a different tool down here to reveal this stuff. That approach or that tool is stories. If you can share a story with your buyer that sounds something like this, other buyers like you, they've told us because of this lack of capability, they're starting to make too many mistakes. They feel like they're losing control. There's too many blind spots, and ultimately they're concerned on how that reflects on their reputation. What you've done there with that little story is you've appealed to this chimp's sense of tribe. If it hears other members of its tribe, that's the tribe of invoice managers, if it hears they're also struggling, it's going to feel much safer about sharing its struggle and weakness with you. Also, by taking your buyer on that little story, you've shown them that you understand how they're feeling, you understand their world. That's going to help you demonstrate huge amounts of empathy to your buyer. It's going to help you build credibility and trust, and at the same time, you're now invoking personal loss aversion.
So where do you get these stories from? Well, you use the people and the information that's inside your business already. You need to take advantage of your customer experience team and your account management team. They need to really understand your existing customers and find out how they felt before they went on this journey of using your products and services. They need to document that and share it with your salespeople. Do that, and suddenly you've got a huge team of rock stars. Okay, would love to hear what you think in the comments below.